Starting plants indoors can be a great way to get a head start on the growing season in your garden. Stick around and I'm going to show you my grow light station, what I've done, and different things to consider before you start growing indoors. Hi, I'm Ted with The Earth Delivers. On this channel, I share tips and techniques on what I do in gardening, vermicompost, while also bringing you the best deals that I find to keep your costs down. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. Hi, welcome to The Earth Delivers. So this is my grow light station here. It's got 5 shelves. It measures just under 74 inches tall. The shelf is 3 feet long. The bulbs are 4-foot bulbs. You can get 3-foot bulbs if you want. I did this so it overlaps and there's more light. It's 18 inches deep and I have it near a plug. So that's one thing to consider. So first thing you should do is consider, where are you going to put your grow light station? You can make it simple to where you just put it on a table and you have a shop light clamped above it, and you can bring the light up and down. You can bring the plants up and down by propping things under it, or you can go as complex as a little shelving system. This isn't very big, but it does a great job sitting off into the corner. I put it near power and I set up a little timer. Whether it was from friends or from businesses, all of these were free except for this one here. It works out fine for me because, as you can see, I have chain that I just drilled a hole in the side of the shelf. This is just made out of plastic. All of it's plastic. And I just used a drill, drilled a hole, was able to put a little hook right inside there. And these little chains you can get at Walmart for just a couple of bucks. And you get a really long piece of chain. I want to say it was like 15 feet, might have been 10 feet, and you can cut little sections of it. You hook a hook to the light, you hook a hook to the plastic here, or you drill a hole or something like that. And then I can unhook this from the hook and bring it up higher or bring it down lower, depending on what stage my plants are growing at. I just have to do both sides, so I usually just count the little eyelets. If I go up 4 because the plant is growing up a little higher, I'll go up 4 on this side, I go up 4 on that side. As far as brightness goes, you want to look for somewhere in the range of 4,000 to 6,500 K. For lumens, 2,000 to 3,000 or 4,000 lumens. There's a pretty good range, and I say that because a lot of people on the internet say you need to get this many K and this many lumens. But then you go to the store and they don't have those exact bulbs. So then I think people get turned off because they feel like, well, the numbers don't match up. Somebody told me this and I'm shopping and the numbers are completely wrong. It's okay. You get the highest one that you can find. So another thing to consider is the space between the shelves. In this case, that's one thing I didn't measure. Let's do that right now. In this case, we have 15 inches. Now, how high up these bulbs will go, their bulbs are approximately 3 inches tall. So now you're talking about 3 inches being here. So we're at 12 inches. So when your plants get to 12 inches, assuming that you're not growing indoors throughout the entire winter, and assuming you're using this grow light station to get ready for putting these plants out in your garden, you don't need to go more than 12 inches. If you're at 12 inches, it's pretty much ready to go outside. Think about what you're buying when you go to a market. If you bought plants in the past and now you want to try growing them inside, you're not finding plants much bigger than that, which is about 12 inches. So consider that. And the reason why I bring that up, space between the shelves here and the width and the depth, it's going to depend upon what you're buying for containers that are going in here. Are you going to buy your traditional seed cell things? These are quite a few years old, and they're reusable as long as you take care of them. And this comes with the seed cells. You're going to have something to this effect, where you're going to start. These are bigger ones because I start cucumbers in these, and these will go 3 across. Are you going to put them in this way? There's not a lot of light coming out to this angle here. Or are you going to put them in this way? And this is what I do. It overlaps a little bit. There's enough weight in here. The bulb overlaps out about 6 inches. So I can have that go out about 6 inches, where this is probably 18 inches long. And on the other side, I can do the same thing on the same shelf and it actually doesn't even stick out that far, so I can bring that back. So now we're looking at about 2-3 inches sticking out on either side, which is fine, and they're fully covered by the lights. Of course, if these were seed starts and they haven't germinated yet, I could bring these lights down to just hover right above. This is one setup. Another setup is containers. They're $1 at the dollar store. You can get a whole bunch of these. As you can see, I went nuts. I got 3, 5, 7 of them. I think there's a few more actually floating around somewhere, probably in my shed. And these are nice. These you can end up putting in the short way. So if you wanted to do different types of plants, I can fit 3. Actually, I could probably fit a 4th one in there if I overlap them, if I really wanted to go nuts and stack those in there. So that's really nice. And in this case, again, you got to know your dimensions. In this case, it fits perfectly. It touches between the inside of this post and the inside of that post. Now there's 2 things you can do. You can worry about all the dimensions up front, or find a shelf that you like that fits in a corner that you want, and then measure the dimensions, see what you need, and then go to the dollar store. This isn't the only container that was there. There are bigger ones, there's smaller ones, there's shorter ones, there's deeper ones. Because you may have things like this that are old and cracked and you don't use them anymore. They're sitting in the back of your cupboard. See what you have that works and then buy the rest. And again, these cost $1 each. So you could do so many things. You could do all seed starting mix and plant flowers in this. Or you can take things like this where this just catches the water and stick seed cells in this. So this will hold 8 different cells. Growing more is always nice because if something dies out in the garden, gets destroyed by weather or animals, you have something to fall back on that may be already indoors. That's another thing I recommend, which I'll talk more about in future videos. So in my storage system here, I have everything I have that has to do with growing. 90% of it's on this shelf. So when the seed starts are ready to be transplanted, I can either put them in the ground depending on the time of year and the temperature, or I can use cups and put them into the next size up. Save every plastic container that you can. These are mushroom containers, for example. This is a takeout container. I could throw this in the garbage, but how is that helping? Thankfully these days more and more things get recycled, but just recycle it into your enclosed loop of gardening. Put a plant in here, take the plant out, plant it in your garden, store this, rinse it out, store it, use it next year and the next year and the next year. If you never throw it in the garbage and it's useful for you, then that's what it's all about, recycling. So save these containers. So I don't need to use these shelves as storage, but for now I only have enough lights for 3 shelves, and that's plenty, trust me. Another thing that I put in here was a heating pad. I put screws in the back to hold power strips so I can plug in the heating pads, and everything goes over into a 6 socket, and the timer is put into that, and I have my other lights hooked up to that as well. And routing your wires neatly behind and having them go along the shelf, you can grab some zip ties if you have them and have them go across the shelf and up or down. However your setup is, that just makes it look that much nicer too. It's nicer, it's neater, depending on where it is in your house. If you don't have a cellar or you don't have a spare room, sometimes just off in the corner in a kitchen or in the dining room, it all depends on what your setup is. This is so great because you can put this in the darkest room in the house, off to the side, and you turn it on for 16 hours or 14 hours or 12 hours, depending on what stage you're at, and it really works out to be nice. Beyond this grow light station, having yourself a little workstation, if that's possible in your area, is also nice. I have my grow light station here. I plan on having this cabinet over to my left end up being a storage cabinet for some of the things up here that I don't use all the time. And I'm gonna have I have a nice table right here, and I just picked up this tablecloth because it has sunflowers on it, so it looks like gardening. And I'm able to prepare my seed starts all within these containers on my desk, and you bring them over, you turn the lights on, you put your timer on, and you're good to go. Once it's all together, it's a nice easy flow of just checking on it, watering it, seeing what you need to do, and I'll be here posting videos to show you what to do next if you come across any issues. So the benefits of having this grow light station: you're able to start your seeds indoors, get them to a larger height, get them in the ground at the time that some people will be planting the seeds. You'll have a full-size plant way ahead of everybody else. If you enjoyed the content of this video, consider subscribing by clicking that square right over to the left. Thank you.